What is the best kind of game? Is it the kind of game where you survive in an unknown environment, progressing towards a specific goal? Maybe it's one that is competitive and requires teamwork. Or maybe it's the kind of game where you can travel in a world that seems endless, in its size and the content that it holds. If I had to choose just one type of game to play for the rest of my life, I would choose the seemingly endless and beautiful world of open world games. Whether it's riding through the heartlands of Red Dead Redemption 2, battling the demigods of Elden Ring in the lands between, striking fear into the Mongols that are invading Tsushima, or shouting the reawakened dragons out of Skyrim sky. Open world games are, in my opinion, the very pinnacle of gaming. You can spend thousands of hours in just one open world and still discover new content or details that you never even realized were there. My name is Clare, and today I will be talking about open world games at their peak, based on the 4 examples I just mentioned, analyzing their story, side content, immersion, and gameplay mechanics. While this video may be, in my opinion, it is mainly based for entertainment, and not to mention the fact that there were other open world games I considered for this list. Nonetheless, let's dive into open world games at their peak. You awake in the back of a wagon, surrounded by strangers, heading towards your execution after trying to cross the border. Soon arriving at the town of Helgen, watching as the rest of the prisoners that were with you are executed for their crimes. Soon, it is your turn to meet your maker, and as you accept your fate while lying your head on the chopping block, an unknown creature lands at the town you're being held in, knocking the executioner away from you, saving your life. No, not an unknown creature, a dragon. In Skyrim, you are the Dragonborn, a warrior destined to slay Alduin, the dragon prophesied to devour the world, the very same dragon that saved your life. But how you fulfill this destiny is entirely up to you, having the ability to choose whatever kind of weapons and powers you will fight your way across Tamriel with. The world of Skyrim doesn't just tell you a story of a medieval fantasy, it lets you live it, from joining factions like the Dark Brotherhood or the Companions, to mastering ancient dragon shouts and forging your own legend. Skyrim gives you the freedom to shape your own path, in a world where every choice feels meaningful, even having the luxury of doing the story of Skyrim at your own pace. A handful of players don't even continue the story after escaping Helgen, they just immediately dive into the world itself, spending hundreds of hours exploring and taking on the side content of Skyrim. Skyrim cities, and sometimes even the wilds, are filled with NPCs, many of which offer side quests or miscellaneous tasks that often lead to dungeons, caves, or hidden stories. While these quests help flesh out the world, my favorite side content comes from the more unique and unexpected quests that seem to come out of nowhere, or begin with something as innocent as having a few drinks. These quests being Daedric quests. For example, there's a quest where you start by drinking in Whiterun, only to wake up with no memory of the night before. What begins as a simple night out turns into a bizarre journey of retracing your steps and piecing together what happened. Then there's the House of Horrors, one of my favorite Daedric quests, where you investigate an abandoned haunted house in Markarth. What starts as a mystery soon reveals something much darker, ultimately rewarding you with a powerful mace upon completion. It's no coincidence that many of Skyrim's most unique quests involve the Daedric princess, powerful gods of oblivion who love to meddle in mortal affairs. But beyond these strange encounters, you can also join guilds and factions, each offering its own deep storyline. For those drawn to honor and battle, there's the Companions in Whiterun, a warrior guild that holds secrets and unique abilities that you can acquire by completing specific quests with them. Or if you're less of a warrior and more of an assassin, the Dark Brotherhood will welcome you. Their questline isn't just about contract killings, though. It extends all the way to Skyrim's highest rulers, making you a key player in a web of political intrigue and bloodshed. And as if the return of Alduin wasn't enough, Skyrim is engulfed in a civil war. You can choose a side, influencing the fate of the province, but remember, no matter who you support, the Thalmor are always the ones to blame. Skyrim even has exclusive endgame quests for high-level players, such as the Ebony Warrior. This adventure has done everything there is to do and seeks one final challenge, a worthy battle that will send him to Sovngarde. Skyrim's side content isn't just filler, it shapes the world, deepens the lore, and makes this corner of Tamriel feel alive within the Elder Scrolls series. Another one of the main reasons that Skyrim is still loved to this day is its immersion and music. The music of Skyrim can completely immerse someone into a world they have yet to see. And all the tracks made by Jeremy Soule has its own part for immersion, either by walking through a town like Whiterun, fighting your way through Draugr and lost Nordic ruins, or climbing the 7,000 steps to High Hrothgar. Or maybe it's just walking to a new location for a quest. Though what is good immersion without an open world to be immersed in? The open world of Skyrim is one of the most beautiful and expansive landscapes in gaming, but its success isn't just about size, it's about how the world feels alive. The landscape itself gives the world character, with dynamic encounters that make every journey unpredictable. Whether you're ambushed by bandits, stopped by thieves, or casually just attacked by a dragon, Skyrim ensures that exploration is never dull. These encounters aren't just there to keep you busy, they add a sense of realism. You may be a powerful warrior on your way to complete a quest, but danger can strike at any time, keeping you on your toes. Skyrim isn't just about life and conflict though, it's also about beauty. From the snow-covered tundras of Winterhold to the breathtaking night sky lit with northern lights, the world of Skyrim is as mesmerizing as it is dangerous. Skyrim's combat mechanics are one of the most well-known, due to its very simplistic style of combat, with hitting and blocking being the main core. While it is simplistic, it's also a bit bland. I'm saying this because at times it does get boring and non-climactic when I'm just swinging my greatsword at an enemy until they drop to the ground, which is why I tend to spice things up a bit by using a bow, not to mention the fact how satisfying it is to one-shot a target. However, there is one factor that does almost balance out this simplistic style of combat. Due to the vast amount of freedom you have, considering all the skill trees and mix of playstyles, like a one-handed sword in one hand and spells in the other. Even if you can't use spells because both of your hands are full, you still have the dragon shouts to tip the scale in your favor, or just have fun with your enemies. In conclusion, Skyrim is one of the most well-known and engaging open-world games, not only because of its nostalgia, and the fact that it's been re-released on every new console, like another game I know, but because of the vast amount of content that this corner of Tamriel provides. The hundreds of quests to be undertaken, with a simplistic and creative style of combat to go along with it, with admiration for the immersion, music, and beauty, along the way to your next quest, which is why Skyrim sets the bar for an open world game to be at their peak.
Father. Jin. Help me. May your death benefit all beings. There must be thousands of them. We will face death and defend our home. We are samurai!
You're not alone, Jin. Your father is the wind at your back. Your mother, the birds in the trees.
Uncle?
He will tell you.
You are Jin Shimura, loyal servant to the Shogun. My heir. My son. I am not your son. I am the ghost.
Ghost of Tsushima is one of the most beautiful yet simple open world games. Set during the first Mongol invasion of Japan in 1274, it follows Jin Sakai, a samurai bound by tradition and honor. But as he witnesses his homeland ravaged and its people slaughtered by an enemy that refuses to fight by the same code, he's faced with an impossible choice. Alongside his uncle, Lord Shimura, he rides into battle against the Mongols with honor, but honor alone isn't enough. Defeated and left for dead, Jin must decide whether to uphold the ways of the samurai or become something else entirely, a ghost. A little backstory on Jin: he is one of the last remaining members of Clan Sakai. Having lost his father during a failed invasion, haunted by guilt, he blames himself for being too afraid and weak to save him. After his father's death, his uncle Lord Shimura took him in and trained him to become a samurai, becoming a father figure in the process. Jin, after failing to save his uncle from the Mongols and their leader the Khan, he decides to take matters into his own hands, gaining allies on the way like Yuna and her brother Taka, and more. He takes the fight to the Mongols both alone and with his allies. Initially, his samurai code of fighting does work in the beginning, but his tactics would most likely be his downfall and probably death. So he adopts a style of stealth, using deception and fear, going against the samurai code. He actually starts to weaken the Mongol forces. His allies and the people he saves witness how he fights back against the Mongols, ruthlessly and without fear, beginning the legend of the ghost.
I've never seen a samurai fight like that.
More than a samurai. He is a vengeful spirit, back from the grave to slaughter the Mongols.
He soon rescues his uncle, fighting alongside him once again to drive the Mongols back into the sea. But as the war drags on, the more his uncle, Lord Shimura, sees the tactics Jin employs, poisoning and assassinating, defeating the enemy through fear and surprise instead of honor and respect.
The Mongols are on the defensive. We will strike before they regroup and end this war tomorrow.
You sent our men to die.
They are soldiers.
Their blood is on our hands. I can find a way past the bridge. Poison the enemy.
An act of terror.
I am trying to save our people.
By teaching them to fear us. If you continue down this path, you will be no better than the Mongols. I trained you to fight with honor.
Honor died on the beach. The Khan deserves to suffer.
You are ruled by your emotion.
This growing divide from what was going to be father and son fighting alongside together. Even after the death of the Khan and the liberation of Tsushima from the hands of the Mongols, Lord Shimura and the shogun still see Jin, the ghost, as a traitor.
He ordered you to kill me.
The ghost was an outlaw. He taught our people to defy their leaders.
To defend themselves.
With poison, a gift you gave to our enemy.
I had to stop you from throwing away our people's lives.
You have no honor.
And you are a slave to it.
You are my son. Now I must continue the line of Shimura without you. I must start a new family.
And my head is the cost.
Taking it is my punishment.
And for the final mission, it all comes down to a duel between Jin and the man who was supposed to be his father.
Kill the Shogun.
As blades of steel clash,
Against my spirit.
Never you. Killing me will only make them worse. I don't want to hurt you.
and red leaves fall. Jin emerges victorious. And is left with a choice to uphold his uncle's honor, who he is a slave to, or embrace his path and role as the ghost and walk away. Regardless of the decision, Jin is now and forever an outcast, forced to live in the shadows. Even with Tsushima free, Jin ended up sacrificing everything for it: his title, his code, his identity, and even his family. Jin's story is one of sacrifice, showing how rigid ideals can fail in the face of reality, being a story about codes that we follow, and what can compel us to die by them, or abandon them completely for the greater good.
The ghost will be hunted for the rest of his days.
I know. Who killed these people?
Ghost of Tsushima's side content isn't just filler, it's packed with stories that hit hard, unique interactions, and moments that make the world feel alive. During the entirety of Ghost of Tsushima's story, there's a variety of missions to do in the open world, ranging from rescues, duels, and to the legendary mythic tales. These mythic tales tell the stories of legendary warriors and their unique and powerful technique, moves that you too can learn, from the Dance of Wrath and Heavenly Strike to an ignited katana. Each mythic tale adds something special to your arsenal. While missions may take up the majority of the side content, there are also quick miscellaneous activities. Fox Dens to unlock charm slots, springs to increase your health, and bamboo strikes to increase your resolve. These quick diversions add depth to the world and give you valuable upgrades. There are even headbands earned through haikus and unique sword kits scattered throughout the world, allowing you to further customize Jin's appearance. One of the most engaging pieces of side content, however, are the Mongol outposts and bases. Clearing them not only to increase your legend, but to also gain helpful resources and supplies to upgrade your weapons and armor. All of these activities and missions are what completely immerse you into the world as a true samurai. However, what truly sets Ghost of Tsushima apart is the breathtaking open world. The vast plains of grass and flowers, the beautiful weather effects, and the vast climbable mountains. Instead of a traditional waypoint system, the guiding wind leads you towards your objectives, making exploration feel more natural rather than intrusive. Birds guide you to hidden locations, and foxes lead you to sacred shrines, reinforcing the idea that nature itself is a part of Jin's journey. These small details make the world feel organic rather than just a checklist of activities. The island of Tsushima isn't just beautiful, it also reacts to your actions. As Jin embraces the ghost persona, storms become more frequent, symbolizing his eternal struggle and the world's changing perception of him. The open world isn't just a backdrop, it reflects the themes of honor, sacrifice, and transformation. The gameplay mechanics of Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorites. It's unique and different, being melee based with ranged weapons still present. Having you fight the enemies of Tsushima with a katana is very precise, breaking their guards first and then quickly striking at them until they regain their composure, all while utilizing a well-timed parry and dodge system for defense. As Jin grows stronger though, he learns new stances and techniques, allowing him to counter different types of enemies effectively. Not only does Jin's skill grow, but so does his legend of the ghost. Taking down enough Mongols allows you to enter the ghost stance, letting you take down 3 enemies in one strike. Paralyzing the remaining Mongols with fear after seeing the ghost in action afterwards. But as the ghost, fighting with a katana is only half of the combat. The other half is purely stealth based, staying out of sight and taking out enemies from afar or up close. And even if you get discovered, you can use various tools such as kunai for a quick stagger, smoke bombs for escape, and even fear itself to keep enemies off balance. All in all, Ghost of Tsushima captures the balance of beauty and brutality, from the immersive beautiful open world to the brutal methods and codes of the Mongols and Jin himself. Regardless, Ghost of Tsushima captures the best of both worlds, ultimately being a bridge between the two, which is why Ghost of Tsushima is a standout example of an open world game at their peak.
Back from the grave to slaughter the Mongols.
I am samurai.
No, you are more than that. You are the ghost. I trained you to fight with honor.
Honor died on the beach.
War. And you are acting like the enemy.
Island.
And another will come. We remember. You will be forgotten.
Shoi has declared you a traitor. He ordered you to kill me.
You have no honor. And you are a slave to it. I'll find our day together. It is beautiful. Let me be the warrior's death.
I have no honor.
But I will not kill my family.
In search of the Elden Ring. Emboldened by the flame of ambition. Someone must extinguish thy flame. Let it be Margit the Fell.
The Soul series has been one of the most beloved and flawless game franchises of all time, harboring the style of brutality and difficulty, but with a guaranteed reward with either an item in progression or the very thing that Souls games are built upon, triumph. Fighting that one boss over and over again, failing and being knocked back down, having the option to either give up or keep trying till you succeed. So when a beloved franchise like this was revealed to be getting an open world, the hype was unreal. I wasn't a Souls fan yet, that came a year later, but the concept alone must have been exciting. Combining the infamy of Souls games with the vast experience of an open world, From Software had a lot to prove, and they did not disappoint. Elden Ring's story tells of a tarnished of no renown, insignificant, forgotten, and a nobody. That's you. Must be really relatable, huh? Your goal is to acquire the fragments of the Elden Ring that was shattered by Queen Marika, her demigod children each having a fragment to gain power and control areas of the lands between. The Tarnished are a people that were shunned from the lands between due to not having grace, but have been brought back to try and bring back order and restore the Elden Ring itself. In order to do that, you must fight the demigods to acquire their fragments, growing powerful along the way. Now, it is well known that Souls games is not like other games. While yes, most do have a story, even if the main drive is the gameplay, other games do shed a bit of light on their story. In the Souls series though, it is widely known that the story of Souls games is up to those who are willing to find out and sometimes speculate the story. YouTubers like Varividya tell not just the entirety, but the story of one thing in particular of a Souls game. Yes, the story of Souls games is not well known until effort is put in to try and find it out, and in doing so, like defeating a boss, you are rewarded with hours of information. And with Elden Ring, it is no different. If not, it is enhanced by 10 times. There are videos covering the entirety of Elden Ring's lore that are almost a day long, and yet the story of humanity is only a mere 2 hours. But the story of Elden Ring, of course, is not the main reason why it's one of the best open world games.
Oh yes, tarnished are we? Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless, without guidance.
The side content of Elden Ring is one of the key motivations to getting stronger. The lands between housing various caves and dungeons and vast landscapes of death and brick. Fully exploring these caves and dungeons can always lead to unique encounters and secret bosses that can reward you with just more runes or helpful talismans. My favorite kind of side content from Elden Ring though is battling against major side bosses. Not being required, but offering some of the best experiences in the game, and remembrances. Major side bosses like Praetor Brightcard being a gimmick boss, but a fun one at that, whose remembrance can be used to grant you one of the best swords in the game, being the Blasphemous Blade. More bosses like this exist. Astel, natural born of the void, Mohg, the Lord of Blood, the first Elden Lord, Dragon Placidusax, and Melania, whose reputation speaks for itself, being found in the dark corners of the lands between, or locked behind certain quests. Now, unlike Skyrim, Elden Ring does have NPCs with doable quests, but a far cry from the hundreds of NPCs. But the ones it does have are more meaningful, these quests from NPCs like Blind the Half-Wolf, whose entire questline revolves around Ranni the Witch, to begin a new order with the Elden Ring under the stars. Quests that don't have much significance can still reward you, whether through unique items or the journey itself. A perfect example is Patches, a recurring NPC in From Software games, whose questline is both amusing and surprising. Another being the Great Jar Iron Fist Alexander, a fellow adventurer and warrior who can help you in various boss fights, being one of the best characters in the game, not only in-game but as a character overall, always there to help you against bosses. Yes, he showed fear when facing Radahn, but who wouldn't against the most dangerous and powerful demigod, and yet he uses this fear to get stronger, a great character overall. NPCs with short quests can even evolve into a brand new quest, sometimes leading to something more, going from helping Bloody Finger Hunter Yura to cleanse the lands between of recusants that hunt other tarnished, soon beating his ends at the hands of his former partner, but then returns later, not as Yura, but as Shigeru, a manifestation of madness that has taken over his body after death, encouraging you to seek out and claim the mark of the Frenzied Flame, and in doing so unlocks a new ending, where instead of restoring order and fixing the lands between, you burn it all away with the yellow Chaos Flame.
Descend into the depths far below the Erdtree capital. Seek audience with the Three Fingers and the Flame of Frenzy. If you inherit the Flame of Frenzy, your flesh will serve as kindling the path of the Lord of Chaos. Burn the Erdtree to the ground and incinerate all that divides and distinguishes. Ah, may chaos take the world. May chaos take the world!
The open world of Elden Ring is vast in both size and structure, each region of the lands between having different settings and immersion. The immersion of the humble beginnings in Limgrave has knights and nobles throughout it, though next to it is one of the most dangerous regions. Caelid was once just another normal part of Limgrave, but after Malenia's battle with General Radahn, it has devolved into a landscape of death and rot, its immersion feeling like you just walked into the eclipse from Berserk. Funny enough, also being able to find Guts' sword in one of the wagons near the entrance to Caelid. After making your way through or around Stormveil Castle, you find yourself in a magic-infested region, the Lakes of Lernia, housing the Academy of Raya Lucaria. Unlike the knights and monsters of Limgrave and Caelid, the Lakes of Lernia immerse you in the world of mages and glintstone sorcerers. Progressing further, new regions continue, unlocked through various grand lifts or shortcuts, fighting your way through the once battlefield of Atlas Plateau and the grand city of the royal capital, and then enduring the cold tundra of the mountaintops of the giants, to suddenly awakening in the confusing structure of Farum Azula, each region having its own immersion in terms of music, enemies, and differentiating questlines. But there is one kind of immersion that occurs only during certain bosses, the immersion of cinema. It's not always present in all bosses, but present in the ones that scale to what seems like an impossible foe. Inside and capabilities. And especially during phase transitions. Dragonlord Placidusax, and even Bale the Dread are prime examples of this, and not to mention the addition of the music that plays during it all. I often found myself just mesmerized by what was happening right in front of me, while dodging at the same time during fights like this. You don't see shit like this so casually in most games nowadays. In terms of gameplay, Elden Ring exceeds it. The combat mechanics are relatively simple, but very complex when it comes to the style of combat. With various weapons like swords, spears, melee gloves, spells, and bows, it goes on. For example, if you want to be a mage, then you can cast spells of intelligence. Yet beyond intelligence-based spells, there are also other kinds of spells, and even incantations that require different stat attributes, ultimately leaning a lot more into a hybrid style of combat, since you could be swinging a greatsword 1 second, then casting a dragon or remembrance boss incantation the next. Melee weapons even have a wide variety of styles, which can be incorporated into potentially hybrid combat. Yes, there are a lot of swords in the game, like greatswords, cursed swords, and even regular swords, but all with different styles of fighting. I haven't even gotten into the combination of various buffs, talisman, and inflicting status effects like poison, sleep, and easily one of the most powerful, bleed, either applying the effect to a weapon or it being a natural buildup, which can all be enhanced by talismans or certain armor pieces. With the right stats, you can have one of the most overpowered builds. Though depending on the type of boss you're fighting, they can have varying resistances to certain status effects, so you can't just melt a boss instantly. However, the community always finds a way to completely bypass these resistances anyways. And yet even with all that, it doesn't really ever get stale due to the vast amount of styles and possible combinations of combat you are provided with. Now, with the Soul style of battling bosses, the more you progress into the map, each one being harder than the last, fighting said bosses with whatever weapons you wield. But then you die, no problem, it happens. But then you die again, and then again. You keep dying over and over, getting angrier each time, frustrated at the fact that you can't win. Soon you go through what seems like the 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance. At that point, losing doesn't even faze you. Even if you lose, it doesn't matter, just keep trying. Just try to memorize the boss's attack pattern, time your dodges right until they're flawless, and do not get greedy. Just keep trying again until you win. And then eventually, you do it. You finally defeat whatever boss you're stuck on, and immediately feel like a massive weight has been lifted off your shoulders. This feeling of triumph is why Souls games are so well liked, and when it comes to Elden Ring, it is no different, and sometimes even better.
Bail the dread! You shall haunt me no longer!
In summary, Elden Ring is one of the best open world games when it comes to content and gameplay. While yes, not dwelling that much on beauty and immersion, but shining in these categories nonetheless, combining the beloved Soul style into an open world, providing the experience of challenge and content, which is why Elden Ring is in this list as one of the pinnacle of open world games.
Long and hard didst thou fight, tarnished warrior, spurned by the grace of gold.
I know in my bones a tarnished cannot become a lord. Not even you. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the foam to the lands between, to stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
Well then, shall we? A consort eternal.
When I think of the word open world, Red Dead Redemption 2 is the first thing that comes to mind. I think of the vast plains of the Heartlands, the various towns like Valentine all the way to Armadillo, and especially the antics you can get into as an American gunslinger, riding along the story of the Vanderlyn gang as one of the most notorious outlaws of the West, Arthur Morgan, where with just one more score they can all head to Tahiti, or whether you're tackling the unique side missions or getting into the dynamic encounters of the open world. Riding through the open world of Red Dead 2 is just as realistic and alive almost as the real world itself, with immersive minor details like how NPCs have an entire schedule and routine they follow. They aren't just there to exist if you are nearby. Not only that, but if you're the type of person to thin out a bit of the population within a town, specific owners of stores and businesses will be replaced. Heck, you can thin out the population down to the point where NPCs will literally lash out at you for taking out a specific NPC.
You killed my husband! You evil bastard! Now I have 3 babies to raise alone. 3!
It's dark and almost real. It really immerses you into an almost replica of a world where anything you do will have consequences, whether they are good or bad.
You have ruined my life. You will pay for this one day, you heartless bastard!
Time itself is just as real. For example, if you hunt an animal and skin it and return days later, its body will still be there, slowly rotting away as the in-game days pass by. Another key aspect of Red Dead Redemption 2's immersion is how cinematic and camera work is presented in the game, from the way animations are handled to the smallest details in exploration, enhancing the overall narrative and truly making it feel like you're in a classic Western film. Possibly the most realistic thing about the open world is its size and attributes, being twice as big as Skyrim's, with different states and explorable biomes, from the snow-covered land of the Grizzlies, the sunny plains of the Heartlands, the humid swamps of Lemoyne, and the unforgiving heat of the vast empty state of New Austin, which means with such a large map means a significant amount of side content. Within Red Dead 2, there's a vast amount of side missions to do. Missions to find and gather the story of famous gunslingers.
Right now, kill him yourself.
I don't want to kill him. I want to deify him.
Miscellaneous quests that are just fun.
Bitch! You filthy little man! Oh! Oh! Come on, horse, we'll leave it!
Or those that reward you with something special, like gold or a new revolver. You can also dive into activities like bounty hunting, robbing stores, or ambushing trains. Everything you expect from a classic outlaw lifestyle. Besides all the amount of missions, there are also many types of encounters you can have. Like Skyrim, on your way to locations, you'll be stopped by those who try to rob you or even go as far as to test their luck against you.
Just had to ask for help, huh?
On the other side of the coin, those who just need help can actually reward you with things like a free purchase of any item. The missions are not the only thing you can do. Challenges like hunting, gathering, gambling, and more are doable, contributing to the calm and immersive world of the western frontier, to either relax or help max out your cores of your health and deadeye. While the side content of Red Dead 2 is simple and seemingly innocent, just like in the real world, there are still dark secrets out there.
Okay then.
Manifested through a twisted mind of a person or persons, or just a supernatural and unexplainable.
Ooh, they bad people. Bad folk. Animals. A lot of them.
or the endless forest of Amberino, which is home to a group of cannibals and a supernatural.
What's that terrible noise?
Must be a sick calf looking for its mama. They've been known to bawl like that.
But as long as you know how to be fast with a gun, these encounters will only just stay as encounters.
Shit! Hey! Think I see something?
The gameplay mechanics of Red Dead 2 are some of the best mechanics in any single-player game, especially when it comes to combat. While yes, it is another simple third person at its core, what makes combat so much fun is Deadeye. Since you're in an era where the only thing that matters is how fast you are with a gun. Well, the end of an era, actually. Deadeye gives you an edge. If you're having trouble with aiming or just want to take out any enemies in style, you can activate Deadeye to slow down time and guarantee your shots. Deadeye is even improved as you progress through the story, going from an automatic target system to a fully manual one where you can place the target where you want. Where Deadeye really shines though is in duels. It's possible to enable or find yourself in duels with other gunslingers or outlaws. In these moments, you have to carefully hold the fire button, then press it to take your shot.
Shit indeed.
It's a more immersive and cinematic take on dueling compared to Red Dead Redemption 1, where the system relied more on reaction speed. While Red Dead 1's style made sense for the time, Red Dead 2's approach feels smoother, realistic, and more intense. Aside from the combat, due to the world of Red Dead 2 being more realistic, it requires you to maintain and take care of various things. For example, the 3 cores you have of your health, stamina, and Deadeye. Each core requires different consumables to stay in check, like meat, beer, and cigars, very fitting for the time period. There's also consumables like tonics that can enhance your cores for a specific amount of time, giving you an edge in combat and exploration. Even your guns will need care and maintenance, and can also be customized. Another example is the very mount you use to travel from point A to point B. Your horse isn't just a simple mount, it requires food and regular cleaning. Neglecting it can have negative effects, such as it being slower and weaker. Bonding with your horse also comes with different bond levels that can improve its health and stamina. Your horse can especially help when it comes to hunting. Tracking and hunting various animals can help in getting materials for charms, new clothing, or just food. There's even legendary animals that can give special trinkets if hunted. Fishing also plays a role, featuring a variety of regular and legendary fish spread across the world. But out of all these systems, there's one that will always matter in the end: the honor system. Your honor rises through good deeds and is brought down very easily by acts of violence and antagonization.
That's a fine horse you got there. Thanks. How long you been married? What'd you say?
Your standing in the honor system will determine Arthur's personality and the future of his story near the end of the game. Which finally brings me to the story of Red Dead Redemption 2.
I hope so. Would you just look?
The story of Red Dead Redemption 2 is nothing short of one of the best stories I've ever experienced. Now you might think I'm exaggerating, which, yeah, maybe I am a bit, but there is good reason why Red Dead Redemption 2's story is so well liked. Even if Red Dead 2's story is a prequel to the first game, it still holds plenty of surprises, so spoilers ahead.
Shut up, mister! Yeah, shut your mouth, mister.
Red Dead 2's story follows the Vanderlyn gang at the end of an era of outlaws and gunslingers. The land is starting to become more controlled, yet there are still gangs and outlaws still running about, just like the Vanderlyn gang, who we meet after a heist gone wrong, fleeing into Amberino's mountains to hide out until things calm down. The gang consists of major characters like John Marston, Abigail, a young Jack, Javier Escuela, Bill Williamson, and Sadie Adler, one of the characters you rescue early on, along with Arthur Morgan, Hosea Matthews, and their leader Dutch Vanderlyn. You play as Arthur Morgan, one of the gang's veterans, who is a notorious outlaw and skilled gunslinger. The entirety of the Vanderlyn gang's motivation is a dream of loyalty, freedom, and that one big score that will allow them to permanently escape the law. At the beginning of the story, the gang is initially thriving, living in relative harmony, after escaping the Blackwater heist and continuing to pull off more successful bank and train heists. But the more heists they pull, the more the law gains on their tail, forcing them to move from camp to camp the more the story progresses.
What now?
We get out of here. And quick. Any ideas?
I know a big old house hidden in the swamp.
Even with the law, the gang is still holding on and moving forward. Soon though, the downward spiral begins. Failed heists and the failure to find that stash of gold that two rival families were rumored to have. Being betrayed and failing to pull off the Saint Denis bank heist, which initially seemed to be going well, losing more members along the way, and after returning from Gorma, the gang is basically in pieces. By the time of Beaver Hollow, half of the gang has either left or died. Internal conflict is very high. Most of the gang doesn't even trust each other anymore after how a possible mole or moles are sabotaging the gang's plans. Dutch's leadership starts to also descend into paranoia and struggles to come up with a final plan, seeing all this unfold through Arthur's eyes, who starts to question everything he once believed in.
You know, you're a lot less ugly from that other angle, Arthur.
Come on.
Arthur is the gang and Dutch's most loyal enforcer. He has been with the gang since the beginning, when it was only Dutch and Hosea.
You know, nothing means more to me than this gang, the bond we share. It's the most real thing to me. I would kill for it, I would happily die for it. But in spite of...
As the story progresses, he meets the Downs family, an encounter that will forever change his fate.
Oh, him, you took the money. He wants it back. What's not to understand? Where's our money?
I don't have it.
During Chapter 6, Arthur is still loyal to Dutch, even while slowly witnessing the gang's downfall and Dutch's reckless actions. But it isn't until after his tuberculosis diagnosis that he realizes his days are now numbered. The further Chapter 6 progresses, he reflects on how he has spent most of his life.
Yeah, I got TB. I got it. Beating a man to death for a few bucks. I've lived a bad life, sister.
We've all lived bad lives, Mr. Morgan. We all sin. But I know you.
You don't know me.
Forgive me, but that's the problem. You don't know you.
What do you mean?
I don't know, but whenever we happen to meet, you're always helping people and smiling.
I had a girl who loved me. I threw that away. My mama died when I was a kid. And my daddy... well, I watched him die. And it weren't soon enough.
Life is full of pain. But there is also love and beauty.
What am I gonna do now?
Be grateful that for the first time, you see your life clearly.
Sure.
Perhaps you could help somebody. Helping makes you really happy.
But I still don't believe in nothing.
Often, neither do I.
Huh?
But then I meet someone like you, and everything makes sense.
You're too smart for me, sister. I guess I'm afraid.
There is nothing to be afraid of, Mr. Morgan. Take a gamble that love exists and do a loving act.
This is where the honor system really takes its role. Depending on if you were a bad or good man, it will determine Arthur's fate. If Arthur has led a dishonorable life, he dreams of a coyote, a symbol of greed, selfishness, and chaos, signifying he's denied peace in the afterlife. But if he dreams of a deer after consistently done good deeds, it symbolizes his eventual peace, acceptance of death, and redemption. These dreams serve as a warning not just to him, but to the player as well. Arthur, with the time he has left, decides to spend it to help as much people as he can.
Fella. You know there ain't enough kindness in this world, that's for sure.
Take this. I don't need it no more.
I don't want your money.
Yeah, I know you don't want it.
I don't.
You sure as shit need it. Take it.
No.
I ain't looking for forgiveness. It ain't about that. But don't forgive me. Just take the money and get out of here. Please. I know I ruined your life. I suffer for it every day. But don't let yourself get killed for pride. I seen it kill too many folk. Don't say anything. Don't thank me. Just take the money and pack your bags. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
I said don't thank me. Get out of here. Please.
Well, at least you ain't run off.
Even as the gang falls apart, his loyalty still remains unwavering.
Arthur! This is different. We know this is full of cash. Army payroll, money and supplies to repair the bridge that you blew. This is all going to plan.
But after the final successful train heist and John's supposed death, his loyalty finally wavers.
Say, Jack, we hid, but they took Abigail.
Who did?
Agent Milton and his men took her to Van Horn to be put on a boat and tried for murder.
I am sorry to hear that.
He watches as a man who he's known all his life and who was like a father to him decides not to save Abigail, John's wife, leaving their son Jack an orphan.
Cowpoke, I still got the choice. Dutch, it's just a girl.
You're right. Dutch, Micah. It pains me to say it, Arthur. But he's right. Dutch! Come on, boys. Yeah!
Well, I guess that's that then. All them goddamn years.
Come on, Arthur. Let's go get her. You and me is all we need.
Determined to act, he joins with Sadie Adler to rescue Abigail himself. During the rescue, Agent Milton appears and reveals how Micah has been an informant all along. So after the rescue, Arthur would take one last ride to confront Dutch and Micah.
The many miles we walk, the many things we learn, the building of a shrine, only just to burn. That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Well, you're a good man. I just wish you'd done it before he worked himself into the grave.
I'm really sorry for your son. It's a hell of a thing.
And all you can do now is decide the man you want to be for the time you have left.
May the wind be at your back.
Aside from my Jake, you're the best man I've known.
May the cards lay out astray, all from your command. That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
You saved my life.
You're a good man. Thank you, Bella. You know, there ain't enough kindness in this world, that's for sure.
Maybe it's a sign, Arthur. Try to do the good thing.
I wish things were different. But it weren't us who changed.
Arthur confronts Dutch about Micah being a rat.
What the hell are you talking about, cowpoke?
You talked.
That's a goddamn lie.
Dutch.
Dutch, think of the future.
It all makes sense now.
No, it damn well doesn't.
This leads to a standoff and the revelation of Dutch's and the rest of the gang's betrayal. Also the fact that John is alive and was left for dead. However, that the standoff ends after the Law and Pinkerton show up. This forces Arthur and John to run from both the Law and Dutch, soon coming to a decision to either go back for the money or help John escape. Regardless of the choice, John escapes. Arthur fights Micah, and Arthur meets his end, taking one last look at the rising sun as he takes his final breath.
It's John Marston, Micah!
Surprisingly, the game doesn't end there, soon shifting towards John's perspective in the epilogue. He spends his time working, reuniting with old gang members, and building his ranch, Beecher's Hope, achieving the gang's initial dream of freedom and peace. Yet during John's achievement, Saitoh arrives with information on the whereabouts of Micah, prompting John to hunt him down to avenge Arthur, and with Dutch's unexpected help, also taking the money that Micah had in his cabin, money from the Blackwater heist, after all this time.
You shot me.
You shot me pretty good.
Ultimately, Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of, if not the best open world game I've ever played, with one of the best stories told in media, along with the exceptional immersion and gameplay that brings the Western genre to life, doing even better than that of its predecessor Red Dead Redemption 1, making it a true peak in the world of open world games.
We're thieves in a world that don't want us no more.
Would you just look around you? This world has its consolation.
Feels like things have changed. The whole world's changed. They don't want folk like us. We're being hunted.
You got tuberculosis. Really sorry for you, son. It's a hell of a thing.
Arthur. You'll never change.
I ain't changed. I'm still a bad man. What am I gonna do now?
Be grateful that for the first time you see your life clearly.
Listen to me. When the time comes, you gotta run and don't look back.
Hey everyone, if you managed to make it to the end of this video, then thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I do plan on making other shorter video essays, so if you're interested, keep an eye out. But if you want to see more videos specifically like this, about the best of or certain types of games, then comment down below what you'd like to see. Well, thank you for watching, my name is Solar Flare, and I'll see you guys next time.